Good day, everyone. Welcome to another episode on Epsiba Show. And I'm very lucky to have in the studio with me today
Stanley Coco.
Stanley Kukuli. You're welcome. Thank you very much for being with me. Okay, so today we're going to be talking on commitment. And we started these three basics of every relationship: passion, intimacy, and commitment. And we're going to be rounding it up today with commitment. So, Stanley, what do you understand by the word commitment? What does it entail to be committed in a relationship?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity to be on the show with you today. For me, I see commitment as a decisive resolve in order to make the course and anything you embark on to get to its absolute finished end. In the sense that commitment causes you to decide on putting the best, channeling resources, all emotion, and everything that pertains to life in order to reach the end of a fulfilled purpose.
Wow, that's a very big one. I hope we got that. Now, you see, in commitment in a relationship, there are different levels of commitment, and there are different stages of life with your relationship with someone. There's this stage of, okay, like there's this woman, I read a book. She's Mrs. Florence Awoyemi. She wrote a book on friendship, from friendship to marriage, and the book was very interesting. I got to understand that there's a different level of commitment you have in friendship. There's a different commitment you have when you start dating, then when you start courting, when you're engaged, and when you're now married. Do you have anything to add to that?
Well, one thing I know is this: commitment is not passive. Commitment is active. It's something you decide within your heart. And commitment is not a feeling. It goes beyond the feeling. This is what makes people last. This is what will make a relationship last the test of time. You know, I'm not part of the school of thought where the moment there's a challenge, everybody says it's wrong. Oh, it's wrong from the beginning. I shouldn't have started. There will always be challenges, but commitment is what keeps you going and keeps the relationship going, irrespective of any kind of challenge that such may face.
So we see a relationship without commitment cannot, I repeat, can actually never work, because relationships is what takes you from out of that level to another level in your relationship. If it was friendship, commitment is what will take the relationship from friendship and bring it to dating, to courtship, then to marriage. You know, I see a lot of relationships today that they've been dating for 6 years, 10 years, and some ladies are like they're frustrated, or the guy, he's not saying anything about marriage, he's not saying anything. Don't you think he hasn't seen that level of commitment in you to bring up the marriage issue? That's why it's very important that there be commitment for every level. You know, I read something that, okay, there are these three phases of commitment: the dedication, then engagement, and then marriage. Now, dedication, it's applicable when you start your relationship afresh. Now, I read something that, you see, at that point, you agree, the two of you come together and agree that we're exclusively going to date ourselves now. And then the lady or the guy, they now make certain decisions. Okay, so now nobody's permitted to kiss any other person outside of this relationship. You can no longer maybe have some intimate hug with someone, and that's in the dedication. Then when it comes to engagement now, the guy has the man here has given the woman a ring to seal the relationship, because I see that sometimes in relationships there are still some restrictions that are not there. You know, like you see a lady telling the man, "Why are you telling me what to wear? I'm just your girlfriend, I'm not your wife." You know, some people get to say things like that. But when the engagement comes in now and you've accepted that you want to get married to this person, or you're now engaged to this person, now the commitment changes at that point. It's now a different thing. Because before you even accepted that person, you of course made up your mind that this is the person you want, and you accepted the person's ring, which symbolizes the seal in your relationship. Now, when it comes to the marriage, now having said your vows, that is now a stronger seal. You know, what do you think?
Okay, one thing I know is, and I've observed, I'm not married, but what I've observed is commitment raises the tempo of any relationship. And that they work hand in hand. And once the tempo is raised, it needs another level of commitment. Like I said earlier, commitment is not passive. it is active. It's something you decide to do. It's like we'll use a word. At some point, you start getting obliged. You are obliged to do it. You don't have to feel like doing it. You don't have to feel butterflies to do it. You have to do it. Commitment gets things done. It doesn't, people say they try to do it and try to make things work. Commitment actually makes things work. Commitment goes beyond trying to make it work. Commitment makes it work. For something to work, you have to be committed. Be it in business, academics, in relationships, in our spiritual lives. If you're committed to a cause, you will even know. It has a way of taking virtue. It has a way of channeling resources. Commitment is the efficient. Commitment causes you to efficiently and effectively channel resources, emotional, financial, social, and mental, resources to reach a fulfilling end. That's one thing I know about.
Okay, I want to ask you this question. How do you know a relationship to commit to? Because there's this problem out there in the world these days. You see ladies say, oh, well, I'm not the only girl. We are obviously 2 or 3 of us. And then the guy too is like, well, I'm probably not the only one she's dating. So I don't know, the level of commitment in the world now has really dropped. Like people no longer commit themselves to what they are into, just the 2 of them. So how do you actually know a relationship to commit to?
Okay, first things first. Too many alternatives weaken commitment. It weakens the force and the grip of commitment. For how you know which relationships to commit to. Number 1, a relationship that has minimum or no red flags. In other words, all the pointers that say, no, this is not healthy, this is an abusive relationship, abusive not only physically, but there are certain relationships that are abusive mentally, emotionally, and even there's this new one I call faith abuse, a relationship that abuses your faith. In other words, you can't really get a hold of your faith because of such relationship. I think when it gets to that point, you know you have to withdraw commitment. But anyone that feeds it, fuels your purpose, and you know this has a headway, you commit to it. And another point is this, you commit also to a relationship in which you are being committed to. In other words, you give as you have been given. When you see that the next person is committed to this cause, you also commit. Then the most important part is when you are led. Certain people are good. However, certain people are not for the journey. But when you spot the person that is for the journey of your life, for a lifetime, they say people are in people's lives for a season, for a reason, and some people for a lifetime. When you've spotted that person for the lifetime, I believe you should throw it all out and commit. And don't be half-hearted. Commitment is not half-hearted. Commitment is full-hearted, holy. Holy, W-H-O-L-L-Y, holy. When you hold back, you will not give your best. And not giving your best is not being committed.
Wow, that's a very nice one. To put all these things you've said together, so I got to understand from what you just said that for you to know a relationship to commit to, that means you have to know what you want. You have to know what exactly you want. If you don't know what you want, then you wouldn't know what you are looking out for. And this will actually limit heartbreaks out there, because when someone is approaching you to ask to date you or to marry you, when you know you don't want this person, then there is no need, hanging around trying to, spend this money, or you two trying to waste your time. Yeah, you know this is not what you want. You will be sincere with the person. You're a great person. You're nice. You're this, but you are actually not what I want. You will not fit into my dreams. You cannot fit that perfect man I want to see. Like I used to say that forever is too long. If you can't have someone that will make you happy for the rest of your life, then you can't even be committed in the first place. You can't even commit yourself to that person in marriage, because marriage is like for a lifetime. You're in it. It will actually even limit the level of divorce these days, because if you know what you want, and it will help you to stay committed in your relationship. And then you will not be thinking of breaking up with the person or be thinking of divorcing your partner. And then another point I'll say is knowing the worth of your partner. You have to know the worth of this person that you are dating. right? Because if you don't know the worth of the person, then you will not even enjoy the relationship. You always feel someone out there is better. You always feel someone out there is more handsome, more beautiful. You always feel someone out there we suit you better. You have to know the worth of your partner. And lastly, I'll say you have to be able to recognize and answer. You have to be able to recognize and answer to what you want. Some girls have this problem of recognizing what they actually want and when it comes. You know, you just because you fantasize all about this your dream man, and maybe this particular man coming is half your dream man, but maybe it's lacking one or two things.
Ideal man.
Yeah. They call the ideal man. Every woman has this ideal man in their heads, but you should be able to know exactly what you want, not your fantasies, not the outward look, and be able to recognize one when it comes. Because some ladies find it difficult to say I do. Stanley, do you know that's a problem now? I'm telling you, you find some people, they've dated for years, they've dated for even 4 years, 5 years, but anytime the man asks her, she can't accept. She knows it's good, it's okay, but there's just something that doesn't just want her to say, I will marry you. You know, I think you don't know what you want, or probably you know what you want, but you can't recognize that that person is actually what you want. I know, of course, you should know who to say I do to. But nevertheless, you should be able to identify a great man, the person you actually pray for when that person comes.
I think one of the things that also limits people's level of commitment is the fear of the future. If I give my best, what if it turns out sour? What if it doesn't get to the point? Well, I would say this: give your best.
Yeah. Give
your best. I believe life should be lived to optimum. If you keep managing and being a mediocre about so many things, which day would you actually enjoy life? You know, there's this syndrome of postponed happiness, postponed joy. Live today happy. Give everything your best. Even the Bible says that whatever your hand finds to do, do it well. Give everything your best. I believe in giving it the best. And if things don't work out the way you think it should, then still glory to God, and you move on and you give your best again. But not withholding part of you will cause you not to give the best, and that is not ultimate commitment. Commitment is the bedrock of which everything can grow, and grow fruitfully, grow to the height at which you want it to be. You know, all this spilling off and going diverted and distracted kind of love and it's not commitment. It's not. When you're committed, you focus and you channel. Commitment enhances focus. Commitment prevents wastage. Commitment channels your emotion. You know, my friend said she had channeled all her energies to one particular relationship. She would have built a skyscraper. So I would advise people to channel their emotions, channel their resources adequately for a cause, for a committed cause, especially as regards relationship. And you'll see it blossom. You'll be happy with yourself. You'll be more fulfilled. It will be more fulfilling when you're committed and when you're half-hearted.
That's a nice one. So to round up today's talk on commitment, I'm going to say something that a relationship can last on the same level. It can be at a particular level for as long as possible, except if what commitment changes it to another level. So if you've been in friendship or in dating with someone for a very long time now, if you want to see the next level, if you want to see engagement or marriage, then you have to change the level of the commitment. Thank you very much for staying with me today on this particular episode. Stanley, I'm really glad to really have you here. I look forward to your comments, your likes, and I would really love to learn more on this topic and some other topics as we will be bringing to you all. And thank you for always viewing my my videos, and it's really nice to have you out there. Thank you very much.